At this time, we ask that you find a seat and silence your cell phones. When the students enter the arch, we ask that you stand for processional and remain standing for the singing of the national anthem and the alma mater. Thank you.
sit right there. There's plenty of chairs there. They'll find a spot.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Oh, we're from dear old Newton, the school to us most dear. It's the place we love the best, finest school in East or West, so we will hail the name we all revere. We love our alma mater, of her glories we will tell. In everything we take the lead, sport and thought and noble deed, and so for Newton we will give our yell. So here's to old Newton, loud we will sing. We'll tell her praises true to you, in every land they'll ring. Then here's to old Newton, school we love best, till every purpose be fulfilled in NHS.
Good evening, family, friends, and staff members. My name is Ian Nicole. As a senior class officer, I am honored to welcome you to the Newton High School commencement ceremony for the class of 2022. Tonight, we can all agree that the class of 2022 has been faced with some of the most challenging and difficult circumstances of any graduating class in the past century. We have had moments and memories stripped from us. We have faced numerous social and educational strains, but we cannot dispute the fact that through the challenges and obstacles we faced, we have all become more resilient. Joseph Campbell once said, "We must be willing to let go of the life we planned so as to have the life that is waiting for us." More than once, we seniors have had to abandon our expectations of what high school would be and bow to the demands of the pandemic. We have learned that the key to success and the key to dealing with struggles is not to avoid them, but instead to face them directly and head on. Fortunately, we have not had to face those challenges alone. When we finally arrived back to school this past fall, we were reunited with the incredible staff and faculty here at Newton High School. What defines a teacher is not his or her subject expertise, but rather their determination to see students succeed and surpass expectations, not just in their education, but in their lives. I would like to thank each and every single staff member of the Newton High School community. All of us students are incredibly lucky for your devotion and resilience that you show us each and every single day. Furthermore, one cannot talk about resilience without mentioning our incredible families. You are the foundation of our lives, and we owe so much of our success to you. All of you sitting before us have also made incredible sacrifices these past few years and have also shown us what true resilience is. We will be forever grateful. Every year, the members of the senior class are invited to write an essay reflecting on the theme they have chosen for this ceremony. This year's theme is resilience. I am very pleased at this time to introduce Abigail Nicholas, who will present the first of those honorary essays. Thank you.
Good evening. I invite you all to observe and reflect upon how we have grown these past 4 years, while I extend thanks to the environment that has cared for us. In fact, it is the resilience of the natural world that has inspired our theme for tonight. No matter where we have been or where we will go, nature always surrounds us. Allow me to speak on behalf of this year's graduating class as we intimately address a defining process of nature's eternal change. Dearest photosynthesis, today, June 17th, 2022, you seem so green, so fresh, and so determined, and so are we. Your crisp oxygen fills our lungs as we await the greatest moment of high school, the end of high school. Now, I don't mean to sound pessimistic. The closure of our time here is a celebration of growth. Watching your leaves change with each passing day as we run on this very field, photograph your trees, and hike in your woods, you have taught us that change is okay. The seasons have presented you with new challenges: delayed winters, sweltering heat, and torrential downpours, to name a few. However, through all of this, you persist. We can always rely on you because we trust you to adapt. You surround us in everything we do, so naturally, we have learned to adapt too. Challenges presented to our class include fluctuating mental health, the loss of loved ones, and the one we can't seem to escape, a global pandemic. We don't dodge life's obstacles. Rather, we bear the weight and emerge stronger. There is no time to dwell on what we could have done. Instead, we must focus on what we can and will do. Wonders bloom from hardships. If you spent your time wondering why it's still hot in October, your leaves would never turn to those beautiful colors that symbolize our Sussex County autumns. The autumns that we will remember whether we are stationed overseas, attending college across the states, working at a local business, or nestled at our homes just down the road. Through it all, we have both had support systems. Yours has been your trees, your branches, and the one we have in common, our roots. While yours run through the soil, ours run through our blood, friendships, and role models. Support graces us with the gift of vitality and ambition. We look to our classmates for comfort in dark times, friendly smiles in passing, and words of encouragement. Our teachers and family nurture us as we discover ourselves and the people we would like to become. Even when your branches are barren and our spirits are low, we are grounded. At our core, we are inclined to accomplish astonishing feats. You, photosynthesis, take the carbon dioxide and water you are given and produce the oxygen that revitalizes our lives. We must accept our current situation and utilize our moral compasses, support systems, and aspirations in order to flourish. Once achieved, our triumphs transform into a new reality, ready to take on the next challenge. Your colors have opened our eyes to a power we have always had, the ability to accept, adapt, and achieve. Amongst us sits 173 brilliant futures. Some will conduct scientific research, can save the economy, protect our nation, innovate new technologies, educate the succeeding generations, or cultivate our land. A series of new worlds awaits us, and we invite you to surround and connect us as we travel in different directions. To admire the natural world is to embrace our histories, our courage, and our resilience. Signing off with great thanks to you, Newton High School's class of 2022. I would now like to welcome Vincent Manny for our second honorary essay.
A man goes walking down the road, and he falls into a hole. The walls are too steep to climb out. He is stuck. A doctor comes along. The man shouts up, "Hey, you doctor, I'm stuck down here. Please, can you help me out?" So the doctor writes out a prescription, throws it down to the man, and moves on. Then a priest passes. The man shouts up, "Hey, father, I'm stuck down here. Please, can you help me out?" So the priest, he writes out a prayer, throws it down to the man, and moves on. Then a friend walks by. "Hey, Jim, it's me. I'm stuck down here. Please, can you help me out?" And without hesitation, that friend jumps into the hole. "Are you stupid?" the man says. "Now we are both stuck." The friend turns. "Yes, but I've been down here before, and I know the way out." For the last 4 years, we have had each other. And we've been through more heartbreak, disappointment, and adversity than any other class before us. We've experienced the passing of a beloved friend, lived through a global pandemic, overcome challenges presented by social media, and dealt with the inconsistency of school. We persevered. We found a way. We found the strength to keep going, to be successful in the classroom, on the field, and at work. We are here tonight because of each other. Stronger together than we are apart. We are more powerful in unity than we are divided. Do not let anyone take that away from you. Do not ever forget the lifelong bonds you've grown and nurtured here. We are strong, we are resilient, we are brave. Keep the relationships you built here, but also reach out to new people. Make that new best friend. Surround yourself with those you trust, those you can lean on, and those who have your back. We all will find our way in this complicated, heartbreaking, and unpredictable world with the help and guidance of our friends. Goodbyes are strange. They are bittersweet. We are anxious to embark on our next journey, but are reluctant to say farewell and turn the page on this one. It still hasn't hit me yet, and I'm sure that I'm not alone, but this is it. We're going to walk off this field and out that door one final time, never again to enter as a student. It is officially time to step out of the protected innocence of our youth and move towards our new destination, adulthood, where the training wheels come off. Graduation is not an ending nor a finish line. It is a time to reflect on where we've been and where we are going. Graduation is a checkpoint on the long road to bigger and better things. Now we may go our separate ways, But because of the relationships we constructed here, I can guarantee, as we move forth from tonight, this field, this high school, this town, and this community, that we all will accomplish those bigger and better things. But that is tomorrow. Tonight, let's remember who we are and where we came from. Tonight, let's celebrate us. Let's break out a map, not the old, out-of-date one that shows where we have been, but a crisp, new one that shows where we might go. Let's embark on a new journey together and see where it takes us. Thank you.
For the past 2 weeks, I've been hoping and praying not to see any clouds, and I'll be very honest with you, I'm very thankful for that one. All right, the technology is plan A. All right, so far so good. Welcome. My name is Jeff Waldron. I'm the principal here. I've been so for 8 or so years. I've been a teacher here in the district for well over 20. I was a student here. I sat in the chairs they're in. I've sat in the chairs you're in watching, and it is our pride and joy, this particular ceremony. The students behind me have worked since they're 5 years old to present something that is very dignified and befitting the effort that they've put in over that largest span in their lives, and we very much appreciate your willingness to support that and to cheer when it's time and to not cheer when it's not, because that's one of the things that makes Newton High School's program so special. So you're doing a great job with that. You're the only ones who can give that gift, and we really appreciate it. So thank you very much. Okay, moving on. While I was talking, I moved my finger. I'm going to ask everyone to join me in recognizing a member of our class of 2022 who is not with us today. On February 7th this year, Henry Kyle Perzillo lost his 2-year battle with leukemia. While this loss is difficult to bear, I find myself inspired by his spirit, his determination, and his cheerful personality. From the time he left school to begin his treatments, he had several goals. One of them was to graduate with his class. Because we had online classes, he was able to actually, through his treatments, accelerate that process and complete his graduation, or complete the graduation requirements in December of 2021. So I am very, very proud to say that we are adding Henry Kyle's name to the list as a diploma recipient this afternoon. So I will ask everyone to please join me in a moment of silence in recognition of Henry Kyle. Thank you. In addition to our commencement tonight, we have 9, that's right, 9 retiring staff members with us. So it is our custom to recognize the staff members at the ceremony. We will not have everyone with us because they've retired at different points throughout the year, but we are going to take a moment and recognize their service to the district. First is Jack Choma. Jack came to Newton in 1994, and there's a lot of Jack Choma stories. If you know Jack, you know what I'm talking about. But my favorite of all is last year when his class duty, or his duty in the morning, was to check in with kids who were scanning their temperature before they came into school. And he took the time every day, every kid, to say hello, to check in, and to make sure that that kid was just had a smile and a friendly nod to start the day. And that is the memory that I will carry with Jack Choma forever of his education, because for me that defines his almost 30 years of effort here. Did I mention that they have combined service of, and I'm mentioning years, of 200 years, these 9 people? And I checked the math twice. It really is. It's 200 on the dot. The second person who's leaving us is Dr. Ken Greene. Ken served as superintendent here for the past 13 years. We live in a time, for whatever reason, superintendents tend to come and go. And from a building level perspective, I think what that results in is not really getting any stabilization or any movement from the central office. You know, the leaders come and they go, and they really don't get their traction. Ken Greene has been a superintendent in exactly 1 district. And all 13 years were spent here. I think that says a lot about him, and it says a lot about us. And I guarantee you most people will never know the good he has done for this district. So please help me recognize Dr. Greene. Michelle Herring came to Newton High School as a student. I won't say when. She met her husband at Newton High School. She raised her family in Newton, sent her children to Newton High School, and she worked as a physics teacher and a counselor in Newton High School. As a counselor, my memory of Michelle is, first, she thinks like a physics teacher, very linear. We had her helping out with the schedule because that makes sense. But she has a knack as a counselor to find the kids that needed the most support and to provide that support. And in my mind, Michelle Herring is the type of person who makes Newton High School what it is. So please help me recognize Michelle Herring. If Jim Hoffman were not an educator, I'm convinced he'd be a farmer. Farmers, yeah, why farmer, right? Farmers plant seeds, they work night and day, hours upon hours, to till, to hoe, to make sure that the seeds grow into a beautiful crop. Jim Hoffman, for the last 27 years in this district, and I'm guessing, yes, 1994, has worked night and day, literally, to make sure that his students, the ones who come through his class, the ones who work with him in the robotics, grow into young thinkers, young problem solvers, and young leaders. Without a doubt, Jim Hoffman is one of the most dedicated educators I've ever met. Please help me recognize Jim Hoffman. Any teacher will tell you that a good teacher assistant is worth their weight in gold. Anyone who's worked with Lisa Pappas will tell you that the price of gold is not high enough. Lisa Pappas works with the teachers, she works with the students, she works with the families. Any aide is going to do that. That's what a good teacher assistant does. What Lisa Pappas does differently is she inspires the teachers she works with, she loves the kids that she works with, and she becomes one of the families that she works with. Please help me recognize Lisa Pappas. Karen Celie Nelson. Some of you sitting here might have been in her class. If you were, you know that 2 things going in. One is you are going to work hard. And number 2 is you are going to leave a better reader and writer than you were when you got there. One of the things that defines Karen Celie Nelson for me is her last year. This year, she only worked for 30 days. And I assigned her to a course, or courses rather, that she had never taught before. I did that because I wanted the new person to teach that section when they got here. But rather than just coast and say, okay, it's my last 30 days, I'll give them the best of me I can get. She took the time to learn a new curriculum and prepare all new courses the last 30 days of her career. She came in with the student's best interest in mind, and 25 years later, that's how she left. To me, that defines Karen Celie Nelson's dedication to her students and to our community. So please help me recognize Karen Celie Nelson. Bambi Steele taught and coached at Newton High School for about 30 years. Her dedication over the last few years to come in and do her job under some extraordinary circumstances is nothing short of inspirational for me. Oh, look how cute. Uh-oh. Can we help find somebody there? I think she's looking. Oh, she did. For those who couldn't see, she gave a raspberry to the students. So, and now she's off. So I'll pick up where I left off with Bambi. I'd say a few weeks before we left for online instruction in March, I listened to one of the senior FFA officers give a short speech about what Bambi had meant to him over the course of his time here. And it was touching. And I thought then, and I'm thinking now, I wonder in the 30 years how many others she has touched in the lives that she's influenced in her time here. Please help me recognize Bambi Steele. John Yeager. Since 1998, John Yeager has been a math teacher at Newton High School, and for most of that time, he has taught some of the most challenging curricula that we have. Under John's guidance, our AP Calculus students have outperformed students across the state and across the nation, and not just by a little bit. First time I realized this was when I walked in the door as a new principal here, and you look at data when you do that. And I did a bunch of line graphs, and I had, all right, this is what the nation scores are, national scores are, here's where the state scores are, just in a plot. And then I looked at Newton High Schools, and it wasn't even close. Our students considerably outperform others. And there's two reasons for that. One is our kids are awesome. The second is because John Yeager is an outstanding educator in the classroom, and when he's not in the classroom, he's going to give as much of his time as he has to make sure that his kids feel ready to excel in his classes. Please help me recognize Mr. John Yeager. I'm going to take a little break. Carolee Zaverbelis has served in multiple roles in multiple buildings in this district since 1997. For the past several years, her job has been the administrative assistant in charge of attendance here. Now, you can imagine how difficult it is to know where every single one of the students behind me, plus their classmates throughout the building, 700 plus students, where they are every period of every day, is no easy task. But that's what her job is. She does it extremely well. I'm going to miss her dedication. I'm going to miss her compassion, and perhaps most of all, I'm going to miss the times when we were able to sit and chat in the office after everybody else was gone. Her kids are a few years older than mine, and I've followed her lead more than once on how to be a good parent. So please help me recognize Carolee Zaverbelis. We are very proud to recognize those seniors who have elected to serve the United States of America by entering the armed forces. We are grateful to those men and women who protect our freedoms worldwide, and proud of our seniors who have chosen this career path. Seniors, please stand when I call your name and remain standing. Donato Bavacqua, Marines. Julia Florio, Navy. William Florio, Army. Vivian Hall, Navy. Donovan Hetzel, Marines. Kyler Kane, Army ROTC at the Citadel. Dominic Magna, Marines. As our seniors continue to stand, I'll invite all of our veterans and active members of the military who are with us today to also stand and allow us to thank you for your service to the United States of America. I would like to invite Abigail Nicholas and Vincent Manny to the podium, please. I would also like to welcome Director of Student Services Jessica Kutz and Guidance Counselor Teresa Howe, who will present the medals for Valedictorian and Salutatorian. Mrs. Kutz will present the medal for salutatorian to the second highest ranking member of the class, Vincent Mandy. Will Vincent's parents please stand? There we go. Mrs. Howe will present the medal for valedictorian to the top ranking student in the class, Abigail Nicholas. Will Abigail's parents please stand? Perfect. All right. Congratulations to both Vincent and Abigail. At this time, I'd like to invite Maya Hydukdale to the podium.
As we gather here today to celebrate the end of our high school career and prepare for what comes next, I'm filled with both apprehension and excitement. We are about to start a new chapter of our lives, and personally, I am terrified. I'm terrified to move away from the security of my family and face my unknown future. No matter what your plans are next year, I'm sure a lot of you share similar anxieties. However, you and I are not the only ones who have these worries. Recently, I read an essay by author Gail Godwin, who portrays the negative voice in her head as a little person who stands at the gates of her consciousness, watching her thoughts as they float past and judging each one. This is the watcher at the gates, the small voice in her head that is constantly critiquing her every word and action. Like Gail, I too have a watcher, and I'm sure you do as well. Miss Godwin says, "It is amazing the lengths a watcher will go to keep you from pursuing the flow of your imagination. And yet, 4 years of high school and 1 pandemic later, here we are today." Some watchers are louder than others. Sometimes they are harder to ignore. They tell us we are not good enough. They tell us to question ourselves and to question our actions. The worst fear of a watcher is to make a fool of themselves. In fact, my watcher is not very pleased with me for standing here in front of so many people today. However, that is exactly why I am right here. I am resilient. I'm ignoring the voice of insecurity and doubt in my head, and I'm overcoming it. I am not my watcher, and neither are any of you. The most important thing to learn in high school is how to stand up to your watcher. Once you are able to overcome the doubts in your mind, there is nothing you cannot do. You are far more talented and intelligent than your watcher would have you believe. Whether you realize it or not, you have spent your entire high school career learning how to overcome the voice of doubt in your head. Think about your freshman self. Most of us were timid, insecure, and often lacking in a sense of direction, both to the pool on H level and to the path we wanted to follow over the next 4 years. I know I am a completely different person now than I was then. I found my voice and my values. I am now unafraid to speak my mind, particularly in the face of injustice. An instrumental part of my inner growth has come from learning to push the voice of the watcher aside. I have watched all of you grow equally as much. However, we are still young. We have years and years ahead of us and millions of opportunities to explore. We will continue to evolve and change and learn how to ignore the watcher. Right now, We do not know what is going to come next, and that makes it so easy to give in to fear. The past few months have been filled with difficult decisions about our futures, but our future is just beginning, and difficult decisions are inescapable. I do not say this to discourage you, but to encourage you to appreciate all that you have learned and the ways you have grown, and to take them with you wherever life leads. Your watcher will always be there, but you will be in control of making good choices and shaping your destiny. Congratulations to who we were, who we are, and who we are becoming.
Before I give some very brief remarks, I would like to take a moment and acknowledge the parents of our graduates tonight. I think you are your students' first teacher and your strongest advocates, and if you wouldn't mind, I'd like you to just stand up for a moment and allow our students to demonstrate their appreciation. Trouble with kids today. I can't tell you how many times I hear that phrase, that line. I think when people find out that I work with high school students, I get a lot of, oh my, what is that like? And I always listen first, because it intrigues me to find out what people think that they know about high school students. And those who work with them know, so it's not as much fun. Those who don't work with high school students have no idea how wonderful they are. And it's fun for me to listen to what people think. Most of the time I hear there's two camps that people fall into. One is technology. The other is, well, kids today are just different. And they have a whole list of reasons why they're different. So I thought I would take a few minutes and do a little research and find out just how different and how technology overrun and overridden the students behind me and other students like them are. The first piece of information I came on is this. The modern world overwhelms people with information which is both confusing and harmful to the mind. That sounds like something we hear today. It's also something that people were saying about the printing press when that first came out. The printed word was interrupting the dialogue, and people were afraid of what it was going to do to young minds. People are becoming socially isolated and losing their ability to have conversations. Also something I've heard quite often in the last few years. Also something that's not new to our time. That's something people said about the newspaper when they came out. People were getting their news from a paper, staying at home and reading it, rather than going to the town center to listen to someone broadcast the news from a pulpit. The new technology is distracting children from reading and diminishing their performance in school. You hear that all the time. They also said that about the radio when it came out. Last technology is this device is impacting young people's ability to think creatively, it's minimizing conversation, and it's a poor substitute for reading. It's destroying the American culture. That's what they said about the television. So the things that I hear when I'm out socially from people who, about my age, their impressions are very similar to those that it sounds like we've had over the ages. The other thing is kids are just different. So I've got a couple of things that I found, and this was all in text somewhere throughout the internet now, but it was printed in either a magazine or a newspaper over the years. Young people today are pampered and think that basic tasks are beneath them. That was written in 1951. Can these young people really be our heirs? Certainly not. They can't be the descendants of the heroes of the past. That was written in 1771. We defy anyone who goes out with his eyes open to deny that today's young people are thoughtless, rude, and utterly selfish. That's what they thought about kids in 1925. This generation is the first in American history to live so well and complain so bitterly. That's what they said in 1963. This one I take offense to because this is about my time. Kids have trouble making decisions. They'd rather hike the Himalayas than climb the corporate ladder. They need to be entertained at all times because their attention span is so short. That was said in 1985, probably around the same time I was sitting in the chairs back there. The point I'm making is simple. There's nothing wrong with kids today. They're spectacular. They're absolutely spectacular. I started to think more seriously about that right up in the bleachers there. It was a few months ago, and I think it was a lacrosse game. It was an evening game. We had a good crowd like we often do, and the kids invited me up to cheer. Either that or I went up because they were saying something they should have. One of those two reasons got me up there. But they, when I got up there, they said, "Why don't you join us?" And sure, I'd love to. But in this, I don't know why they do this, but they put a ski mask and a chef's hat on me. I'm not sure why, but that's how they do it. They dress in whatever the theme is. I'm not sure what that theme was that night, to be honest with you, but that's what I was wearing. So we were cheering and jumping up and down and hooting and hollering. One of the kids said, "Mr. Waldron, are you reliving the glory days?" Because I was clearly having a good time. And without hesitation and without thinking about it, I said, no, not at all, because what's happening today is far better than what happened during my glory days. I think the kids today are far more suited. There's different challenges for sure, but the types of things that the kids, certainly the ones behind me, can do and have done never ceases to amaze me. And I've written a small list of things that this group has done, and they've done it under some oddball circumstances. So this class came in as freshmen, moved into their sophomore year. A couple of months in, we pulled the rug out from under them, turned education upside down, and then opened the doors the first day of their senior year and said, figure out how to have a great senior year. And that is exactly what they did. I'm going to list just a couple of things that this group has done this year to make their senior year, their last year, special. The first thing, and this is a much shorter list than it could be, I've been up far too long already. The first thing they've done, or that they did, was they planned the choir trip to Disney. We did that early in the year when trips weren't going anywhere. Mr. Malloy, I talked to him, I said, "Are you sure? Because the odds are we're not going to be able to go when the time comes." He said, "My officers, the senior officers, are absolutely adamant. Yes, we want to go, we want to try." And not only did they try, they did it. We pulled it off, we flew to Florida, had a great trip down in Disney. The spring musical, The Wizard of Oz. The last time our students prepared for a musical, 1 week before the curtain opened, the school shut down. They never had a chance to perform. So throughout the year, training with that looming over their head, they put together not only a great show, but a show that outsold every other show in modern memory all 3 nights. And a show where cast members were flying across the stage. 2 things that have never been done before in Newton High School history. Under the circumstances we're in, this group did it. Our sports teams continued their dominance in the sports where we were already dominant, and more exciting to me is they started to shift in some other key sports, and I'm really looking forward to where we go with those groups. The FFA sending 8 teams to nationals. 8 teams. That's a lot of teams for Iowa. For a school in New Jersey, it's unheard of. It's happened once in Newton High School's long, proud history. The group behind me led that effort. Our FBLA sent a record 32 students to states and 8 students to nationals. We have never gone to nationals before with the FBLA. 8 students made it to that level. Our robotics team competed at the world competition. They were so highly ranked in the region, number 1, I think it was 10 or 12 states, that carried us through to the world competition. And they were competing with the best of the best. And it started here to say that had these groups not done that, who would have batted an eye and said, well, you tried, you did your best. They did more than try. Their theme is resilience, and I appreciate that, but I don't know the word is strong enough. Resilience tells you come back. I'm suggesting that they not only came back, but they surged forward. I've got a couple more on my list. This one I have, well, I guess this one makes me laugh a little bit. They organized the very first tailgate barbecue in the parking lot during testing. It came to my attention that we had pulled a pickup truck with a barbecue, and about an hour and a half later, I made my way up there to pull the plug on it. But there's nothing wrong with that. You know, is it against the rules? Yeah, it probably is. But is our seniors finding a harmless way to make their senior year special? Sure it was. Absolutely appreciated it. And asked them not to do it again, but did appreciate it. We sent 325 kids to the prom. And that's kind of normal for us. The thing that was special about prom for me was I talked at length with the officer from Andover. Perona Farm says that we have to have an officer there for security. And he said, I've never been so bored at a prom. This is the most respectful group I have ever worked with. He wasn't a young guy. It wasn't his first prom. He said, and he was absolutely mesmerized, taken as the kids walked out, that they stop and shake the hands of the advisors. Thank you. Thanks for a great time. We really appreciate the effort that you put into it. That's the effort that the kids behind me had led when they started September 1. Go ahead, just figure it out. Yesterday, they began a new tradition. Sunrise. Sunrise breakfast. And I was blown away. At least 50 students and staff members sat in the bleachers to watch the sun come up over the school on their last full day of school. And it was awesome for two reasons. One is because there was a lot of donuts there, and I like the donuts. The other is it was just a quiet and the blankets on and looking over, and then those ominous clouds that I'm always afraid of when I'm standing at this podium came over the hill, and they all ran down and they drove out and they went to breakfast and they blew off school. Again, not always what we're looking for, but in celebration of a last day, harmless fun. A great, great group of kids. So I will tell you that as we're coming together here to celebrate the efforts that they've made, not only in this last year, but in the 4 years, that there's two things that I know for sure. One is that it was a great year to be a Brave. And two, there's nothing wrong with students today. Thank you. With that, I will say, Dr. Greene, I certify that the students before you have completed all of the requirements stipulated by the state of New Jersey for graduation from an accredited high school. I am proud to present to you the Newton High School class of 2022. Just get them seated, and then we'll be ready for you. Okay.
All right. Good evening. Mr. Waldron, on behalf of the Board of Education, I accept your certification of the class of 2022 and welcome our graduates into the family of alumni who have made Newton High School the incredible institution it is. This evening's dignified ceremony continues a timeless tradition that, among other things, makes our community very special. Mr. Waldron, I also want to thank you for your address. I don't think I've heard a finer one, and I think it captured everything that anybody who's interested would want to know about why Newton is such a special place. It's why I've stayed here as superintendent for 13 years. It's why I've never wanted to leave. And it's why this place will continue no matter who comes and goes. I thank you as well for the nice tribute to my time here. 13 years ago, I gave my first address at this ceremony.
when the graduates seated here had just finished their last day of kindergarten. So now it feels as if we're all graduating together. Tonight's theme of resilience is particularly poignant for the reasons articulated by tonight's speakers. We think of the many qualities which we hope our young people will possess when they finish their education here in Newton. Skills such as problem solving, critical thinking, care, effective communication, collaborative teamwork, and so on. These are crucial, yes. But what must our young people possess to make sure all of those skills can be employed? None strikes me as fundamental to success as resilience. We never know what life may throw in our path, or when or where that will happen. What we do know is that we all face challenges at some point. As a community of learners, our teachers plan demanding tasks that challenge students in a safe, respectful way through academics, the arts, athletics, and student activities. These offer many opportunities to practice resilience. That skill of being able to persist on your journey after being challenged has so many applications to our present and future lives. In that way, teaching and learning resilience is one of our most important objectives. So I say to you, class of 2022, take the knowledge, the skills, and the character you have developed here in dear old Newton, and use them as a foundation to go forth and be resilient in the face of life's obstacles. You have our congratulations and best wishes in your future endeavors. Thank you.
Many of you here this evening have never attended a Newton High School graduation. It is like no other. The ceremony is always dignified, solemn, and befitting the class. In a few moments, we will be receiving our diplomas. And on behalf of the class, I wish to ask that this year, as has been true in the past, that the audience dignify our ceremony by not yelling or cheering when your graduate receives his or her diploma.
Muchos de ustedes aquí presentes nunca han asistido a una graduación del Colegio de Newton. Es algo único. La ceremonia es digna y solemne. En unos pocos momentos estaremos recibiendo nuestros diplomas. En nombre de nuestra promoción, les pido que la audiencia dignifique nuestra ceremonia sin gritar ni aplaudir cuando su graduado reciba su diploma.
Les agradeceríamos que nos permitan escuchar el nombre de cada compañero en su totalidad. Reconocemos su emoción y entusiasmo y lo compartimos. Sin embargo, es nuestra graduación y les pedimos amablemente su consideración y respeto a nuestro pedido. Por favor, no griten ni interrumpan nuestra ceremonia. El regalo más grande que nos pueden dar es dignificarla. Nos gustaría recordar la audiencia del año 2022 como la audiencia con clase y dignidad.
We would appreciate that you allow the name of each classmate to be heard. We certainly realize your excitement and enthusiasm, and we share that with you. However, it's our graduation, and we ask your consideration and thoughtfulness for this request. Please do not yell out or disrupt our ceremony. The greatest gift you can give us is to uphold this tradition. We would like to remember you, the audience of 2022, as the audience of class and dignity. Thank you.
On behalf of the class, we thank you for your courtesy.
Melkart J. Abujawade.
Aneda Veronica Akte Kal.
Nicholas Costa Agathocleus.
Nawaf Abdulaziz Al-Aboud.
Mohammed Bilal Amir.
Christian David Arbelayez.
Nicole Rose Asante.
Ryan Gabriel Ioso.
Ashlyn Rose Batista Irwin.
Caitlin Patricia Bears.
Michael Anthony Bello Jr.
Donato Francesco Bavacqua.
Zachary Robert Beazold.
Christian Joseph Blakely.
Remelin Charm Borja.
Noah Jonathan Bowden Snyder.
Jordan Emma Franick.
Charlene Bravo.
Kira Rose Calararo.
Avery Grace Keiko.
Aubrey Joan Carroll.
Andrew Christopher Carlson.
Elizabeth Mona Carson.
Anthony Richard Carlson.
Brandon Henry Castellaneta.
Noelle Marie Casperson.
Nicholas John Castellaneta.
Gianna Marie Celli.
Gwendolyn Laurel Chan.
Tyler Michael Chamberlain.
Riley Patrick Christensen.
Trevor Isaiah Christ.
Madison Riley Chimey.
Ronan Francis Christie.
Dylan Tyler Cosentino.
Nina Angela Sonati.
Sydney Olivia Cotter.
Brandon Carlos Costabel.
Corinne Joy Crowley.
Hunter William Courtwright.
Julia Emily Ping Decker.
Emily Cunningham. Griffin Andrew DeCoster.
Christian Garcia.
Luis Alberto Delgado Santiago.
Kenneth Samuel DeGraw III.
Alexander Bryce Deloach.
Joseph Michael Della Giacomo.
Amanda Jean Dickinson.
Julissa Noemi Diaz.
Logan Brady Dodd.
Alexa Corinne Dodd.
Michelle Christine Donnelly.
Megan Marilyn Dondero.
Sarah Michelle Dene.
Rhiannon Noreen Drislane.
Nathaniel Vensek Enriquez.
Cassandra Marie Dunn.
Johnny Ashley Fagerlin.
Olivia Jillian Ernstoff.
Jake Alexander Felix.
Jacob Russell Fay, who will be receiving his diploma by his mother, Joan Fay.
John Fiesler.
Emma Michelle Fernandez.
Julia Claire Florio.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, just a reminder, the students have asked that we not call out. It's the dignified ceremony that they're looking for, and again, you are the only ones who can grant that gift. Please do that for them. I think they've earned it. Thanks.
Julia Gail Fitt.
William Richard Florio.
Paige Renee Freypaul.
Madison Lynn Frieda.
Audrey Lynn Fullman.
Matthew Ronald Freund.
Adriana Nicole Guerin.
Robert Louis Giordano Jr.
Morgan Elizabeth Glenn.
Rosa Emelina Gonzalez Vasquez.
Sarah Grace Granholm.
Dominic Sebastian Grutza.
Matthew Charles Dominic Guzowitz.
Maya Juliana Hajduk-Dale. Maya is being presented the diploma by their dad, Greene board member Noah Hajduk-Dale.
Vivian Celeste Hall.
Zachary Bruce Halteman.
Mason Bishop Ham.
Sydney Elizabeth Harding.
Walter Heredia.
Donovan Patrick Hetzel.
Ivy Marie Hudson.
Matthew Gerard Iatesta.
Ashley Belen Jaya.
Jaden Geo Johnson.
Alexander Edward Jones.
Joshua John Jordan.
Kieran Michael Kane.
Megan Linnea Carr.
Kyler Thomas Kane.
Bridget Veronica Carrick.
Nicholas Max Coberly.
Christopher James Kraling.
Liam Slocum Krush.
Joseph Louis Kernitis.
Jacqueline Eve Marie Langschultz.
Colton Glenn Lawrence.
Heath Les II.
Brendan Christopher Lloyd.
Rocco Alexander Lombardo.
Leslie Lopez.
Elisania Lugo Peralta.
Melanie Lopez.
Cindy Moise Cinto.
Ryan Patrick Lynch.
Derek Ariel Marte.
Vincent Edward Manny.
Christopher James Mastrelli.
Grace Matullo.
Carly Rose Mayhood.
Madison Grace McCann.
Erin Paige McLean.
Elira Marcena Michai.
Dominic Marcus Begna.
Daryl Mims Jr.
Nicholas George Moncho.
Cassandra Isabel Mull.
Joshua Alexander Murray.
Aiden Richard Murtaugh.
Charlie Lou Wen.
Abigail Claire Nicholas.
Ian Michael Nicole.
Nicole Lynn Norman.
Courtney Okuzu.
Kyle Thomas Pappas.
Sydney Lynn Pavlishin.
Aaliyah Maria Payne Paris.
Augustine Fernando Pecchoco.
Aiden Dean Pfeiffer.
Cecia Arisai Rodriguez Mendoza.
Kevin Manuel Rojas.
Dylan Tyler Roland Gonzalez.
Isabel Karis Solitsky.
Isaiah Nathan Samuel.
Austin Robert Soller.
Jesse Luke Sainer. Faith Alexandra Schick.
Abigail Marie Shealy.
Ashley Rebecca Seagot.
Takeo Elijah Sibley's.
Jacob Richard Spina.
Taylor Ariel Squires.
Tina Stas.
Rose Kimberly Steinberg.
Carson Jean Sullivan.
Jacob Thomas Sutton.
Joseph Broden Zakowitz.
Cyril Paul Halandoni Tabaranza.
Joseph Bailey Thompson.
Sophia Nicole Vaca Aviles.
Ty Aaron Valerosi.
Harrison Tyler Valsworth.
Ryan Hunter Vandermas.
Alexandra Yvette Vargas.
Isabella Rose Vina.
Mackenzie Grace Viersma.
Cindy Valeria Viegas.
Alexander Thomas Ward.
Samantha Noel Wetchler.
Peter Robert Weissensee.
Trent Christopher Wiley.
Jack Corson Young.
Lacey Zielinski.
Julia Grace Zonka.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am so very proud to present the Newton High School class of 2022.
Yeah, now that the shade's out, now we're done.
You want this? Okay. We're done here. My job here is dust. Thank you.
Hold up.
Let's go!
Nicely done. They are preparing for the ceremonial hat toss if you want to come and get a picture. It's a good shot. There you go, graduate.
Thank you. What? Yeah. Wow. You ready?
Yep, you ready?
All right. Wait. Come.
Wait for them to come in.
Come here. Oh wait, we need our phones. All right.
All right, ready? What are you guys doing? Are you good? All right. Ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3!
Where am I going?
Fuck yeah, baby! Roll Tide, baby!
Do your thing, honey.